and welcome to episode 4 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. My name is Laura and this is where I come to chat on the internet about knitting, other hobbies, sometimes crochet, usually quite badly, my life, my job as a yarn dyer and as a UK yarn show director, and just in general come to make friends on the internet. If you've not watched any of my episodes before, hi, welcome. I'm coming to you from Lowestoft in England, in the UK, so I'm the most easterly town in England, out into the sea that you can possibly. I only just realised that I have blue dye on my arm. Yeah, I am from the most easterly town in England and I live here with my husband, my 2 small children, my small badly behaved dog and very old cat. Yeah, and I have jumped on. If you've watched before, hi, welcome back. But it's only been a few days since I've uploaded an episode, but that episode was recorded over a month ago and it's taken that long for me to get it edited and up onto YouTube. So let's see how long this one takes. It is the 27th of June, Tuesday the 27th of June. If you're seeing that anytime this week, if you're watching this video anytime this week, I have had some sort of burst of energy and actually sorted it out nice and quickly. Anyway, I'm gonna kick off this episode. So the first thing I'm gonna say is I will be redrawing the winner of the episode 1 giveaway in this podcast because nobody has claimed the prize, and I'm not redrawing the one that I announced last week because in the last episode, because that was only up a few days ago and that's not quite fair. So hopefully that person will see their prize. So the very first episode I was giving away this from my stash, which is the Yarn Tart, and it is this lovely sock set and it was not claimed. So I'm going to redraw that again at the end. So stick around if you have commented on episode 1 of the podcast. Anyway, I'm going to jump straight in to finished objects because I've got one and now I can take it off because I was like, oh, I'll wear it at the start of the podcast. It's really hot. It's so hot here. It's unreal. The weather has been horrible. So everyone goes, oh, don't moan because the weather's nice. I will moan because the weather's nice. I'm not on holiday. We don't have air conditioning. I am a large lady and I overheat quickly. I love the winter. I don't moan in the winter. I adore the winter. I love being cold and putting something snuggly on. I'm very rarely cold anyway. In the summer, I can't cool down. I live in front of a fan. My job is to literally stand over pans of hot water and I'm steaming myself. So yeah, I'm struggling with this hot weather. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to show you is a finished object. So this was a test knit for the lovely Therese of Brixton Purl. I'm just checking it right out. Yes, I have. And it is only a 2 skein shawl, but it is huge. There are pictures, finished object pictures on my grid. We went on holiday with my parents. Our family went with my parents a little while ago, and I finished this off and I blocked it, and then we took pictures. My darling 6-year-old took a picture for me that I really like. So I might put it up here. And yeah, but you can see it on my grid, and this is a test knit for Therese of Brixton Purl. If you keep an eye on my Instagram, I will 100% be sharing when this pattern goes live because I love it. And go and follow Therese anyway, just because she's a brilliant designer. But yeah, this is knit in 2 of my Game of Thrones inspired Ice and Fire collection colourways. This whole wall behind me is Ice and Fire collection. The pre-order is closed. It was open for a week over the end of May and the beginning of June, and I am now in the pre-order dyeing window, and I'm almost done dyeing, I think. These shelves all need to be filled up. They will be all filled up by the time we're done, but I think if I solidly dye throughout the rest of this week, by the end of Sunday I should have completely full shelves and be done dyeing everyone's orders, then I can go through, label all the yarn, then I can pack it all up for shipping, which takes a long time. Anyway, so this is 2 of my Ice and Fire colourways. They're all up on my Instagram grid. I won't bore you with all them again. And yeah, that's my one finished object and I love it. So keep an eye out, because when that pattern comes out, it takes almost a full skein. You have like a little mini skein left of both the colours, and it's so nice to have something that really takes that yarn up, but also it's a really intuitive pattern. It's really lovely, it's really easy to memorise and really meditative. So yeah, I would really recommend it. On to whips. Okay, my first whip is one that I showed on the last episode as yarn, and I then cast it on, and back then I said I was going to do a love note and I was going to leave out the lace because I've got a love note with lace and I wasn't sure how I would like the lace with the boucle yarn. So I decided not to do a love note and I have instead gone for a colouring book Raglan, because I've made it before. I wore it in my first episode, it was the one with the stripes, so I'm going to do one with no stripes. So this is knit in the Lady Lena, which is another one of my Ice and Fire colourways, and it's a tonal, but on boucle, first of all, they are tonals, like you should be able to see all of the different shades across the yarn. I don't aim for them to be a solid, it's hand dyed yarn. You can buy solids, like complete solids from commercial dyers, and they look amazing, commercial dye companies, and they look amazing, but that's not what I was going for. I am not quite at the spot where I would split for the sleeves. It has a lovely wide neck, this pattern, I really love it, and it's so comfortable. I'm thinking cropped body and longer sleeves, we shall see, but I have stalled on it. So I cast this on, I'm enjoying it. I cast it on my holiday and had carried on knitting it because, again, it's quite meditative, it's nice, just knit round and round, and it's living in my Highland Coo project basket from the Fibre Fox. But something else came up and my brain went squirrel, because that's how I work. I will come back to it. I keep promising myself that I'm not going to put it away anywhere, because if I put it away somewhere, it won't get knit on ever again, like all the other whips in this house. But, and I will talk about this bag in a bit, but I cast something else on. This is a little different. I saw a test knit and I wanted to take part. I loved the test knit pattern, but obviously, and I just finished a test knit, that last shawl was a test knit, so I was like, I will allow myself to apply for this next test knit and we'll see if I get in. And I did. So this is the Orla cardigan, and this, oh, look at that stripe. It looks really bad on camera, it doesn't look as bad in person. Okay, so I'm not alternating skeins because I'm a bad knitter, and I say to people, alternate your skeins when you're working with hand dyed yarn, because it's hand dyed yarn and that's how it works. Alternate your skeins. But I dyed up so much of this yarn that it couldn't all be the same dye lot, because I need a lot, because it's made out of chunky and this is a big cardi, so I need a lot of yarn for it. So, and it's a heavily cabled pattern, and I was like, I don't want to alternate skeins. I don't want to. I can't be bothered. This is too much. My brain is not concentrating. I'm not alternating skeins. So now I've got a stripy cardi. I don't care. In person, it does not look that pronounced, but oh my gosh, on camera it does. So here we go. This is the Orla cardigan, and I am making the 2XL. The 6th size, but they are size inclusive patterns, and it is a part of a test knit for a book for Jaime Creates. You can find her on Instagram if you don't know who she is already. She's got a lot of followers, like you should know who she is. But go and follow her if you don't already. And I am making this cardi. I don't know why that stripe is showing up so badly, because in person it's not that bad. I'll probably go somewhere wearing it one day and everyone will go, it is that bad. I don't care. So yeah, this is in the Red Woman colourway, and I'm really enjoying it, but it is a lot of concentration. So this is just the back panel, and it's a lot of concentration when there's little kids around, so I am moving slowly on it. I'm hoping, like, this is the biggest part, because it's the back panel and I'm making a large size. So this is the biggest section, and once this is through, you know, all the smaller parts should hopefully move a little quicker, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm just slow. But yeah, this is the Orla cardigan for Jaime Creates Test Knit and in the Red Woman colourway. And I'm loving it. I forget how much I just love cables because I'm a lazy knitter and I like to be able to do 1,000,001 things at a time. So it's hard for me to concentrate on an intricate pattern when my bottle has started leaking. It's hard for me to concentrate on an intricate pattern when I'm also watching the telly, talking to the kids, possibly working at the same time. My bottle has got a leak and now I feel like I need to go and buy a new bottle straight away. I only really drink out of a bottle because every time I'm drinking, if I'm on the move, if I'm working and doing things, so I'm not sitting down and having a drink in a mug, so I usually just drink water, but I like to drink it out of a mug. My cat will come along if I'm not paying attention and just stick her whole face in it. So when I'm moving around a lot working, I tend to drink out of a bottle because it means that I know that I haven't shared my drink with an animal. Anyway, off topic. So that was my colouring book Raglan, the Orla cardigan, and then I have some vanilla socks going on. I always have vanilla socks on the needles. This one is my yarn. I just do a 64 stitch count. I like a heel flap and gusset. I always feel that that fits me better than anything else, and I like a 2.25mm circular needle for magic loop. I've tried other methods, I just don't like them as much as magic loop. I'm not against them. I've got whips in all sorts of places on DPNs. I've got a couple on 2 short circulars. Magic loop is my jam. But yeah, so this is, let me just get my face out of the frame so it focuses. Oh, now it's not going to focus anyway. There we go. So excuse my awful fingernails because the ones that have polish on have grown out, and also all of them have dye on them. So this is something a little bit different. This is You Saw Me When I Was Invisible, and I have some scanned up here because these are all getting ready to go out in the post today. And this is a reference to the Princess Diaries. So it's the line that Mia says at the end, like, why me? You saw me when I was invisible. But it is actually dyed inspired by the fire station that Mia and her mum live in. So Princess Diaries came out when I was 11, I think. I'm sure I was quite young and I was obsessed with it. I had it on DVD. It was one of the first DVDs I had because I was very much a video VHS queen before that, because I had a TV with a built-in VHS which I kept until I was early 20s. I think I got rid of it when I moved in with my husband at 21. Anyway, yeah, so the Princess Diaries, and I loved the books as well, but this was a movie collaboration. So ages ago I had this idea. Someone else had an idea for this Pi Day collaboration in a dyer group that I'm in. So there's a big dyer group that any dyers, if you've got a up and running dye business, you can join, which is run by Selena of Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. And there's tons of us in there, and someone had suggested this Pi Day collaboration since earlier this year, and I did the Pi Day collaboration. I had loads of fun and it's just really nice. Anyway, I was chatting to a group of friends. Well, I was chatting to one friend and said, I had an idea, what if we did like a movie night collaboration where we all picked a different film and we did a collaboration, you know, all had a different movie. And they were like, yeah, you should ask some other people about that. And then I was at my friend's hen do and suggested it, and there was lots of dyers on this hen do, and they all thought it was a good idea and spread it around, and we got this, basically it was our little knit night online group of dyers all went, yeah, let's do this. And it was just so lovely. It's a collaboration effort between a bunch of different dyers, and we all picked a movie that a sort of cozy night in, you know, just cuddle up and watch classic sort of film for us, and dyed a colourway inspired by it and put it out for sale on Saturday last week, and it was Saturday night at the movies for our hashtag, and it was just a bit of fun and a bit of silliness. And if you go onto Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, if you go on to my post of this yarn where it's with pears, because Genovian pears, and popcorn and Haribo, you can see, and the yarn, you can click on it and you can click on the picture and you can actually see all the other dyers who took part as well, and you can click on and go and see the colourways that they all put up. A lot of us still have them up for sale, and we'll have them up for 1 week ish, so most of us still have them up at the moment. So I mean, I think most of us do, but it depends on whether or not I post this video. So if I can get this video up and out in the next few days, hopefully that will not be out of date information. But yeah, so this is my socks. So I would love to be able to buy everybody's Saturday Night at the Movies collaboration yarn. I can't, I just physically can't. I did treat myself to a bag. So Jess of Pigment and Ply, her Saturday Night at the Movies was The Hobbit, and she drew the most beautiful inspired image and then got it put onto fabric and made bags. So I have ordered a bag, but I can't buy all the yarn. I wish I could buy all the yarn, but I'm knitting my ones up into a pair of socks so that I can have them in my box of socks, which has lagged behind and I need to catch up. All of the goals that I set for the beginning of the year, I have fallen down on. That I might be able to explain why a little towards the end of this video. Anyway, so this is the whip that is walking around with me everywhere. One other thing that I have been working on very recently is some squares. I'm just making a few 6-inch squares for a community blanket. So if you haven't seen over on Instagram, if you followed Liv at the Wool Shed, she has very sadly passed away. There is a post on her Instagram from her family, and it is asking for people to donate, or to make, if you knew Liv, if you want to do something in her memory, you can make a square, 6-inch squares, and send them to them, and they're going to make a blanket to go with Liv on her final journey. And they are also, if there's any spare squares, if lots of people send them in, they will make blankets for the neonatal unit at the hospital that was looking after Liv. It's incredibly sad, and I'm so sorry if you heard the news here, because Instagram is horrible and doesn't show posts to people. The algorithm is killing us all, but hopefully lots of people have been sharing this post, and hopefully the news will have got round to anybody who needs to know it. But if you didn't know it and you're this is the first time you're hearing of it, please pop over to Instagram to the Woolshed account, and you'll be able to read the post there from her family. But I am making some squares to go in her blanket, and this is one that I started last night, yesterday, and yeah, I'm going to try and make a few and send them off this week to Liv's family. And the only other thing, sorry, that was really sad news, and I'm sorry if you heard it from me first and knew Liv. So the only other thing that I've been working on is my Cozy Memories blanket. Now, this was another goal from the beginning of the year that I haven't stuck with. You're noticing a theme. But I have picked it up this month, and I have done a few squares, and I think if I aim to get like 10 squares a month on this, that might be better, because nothing is holding my attention at the moment at all. Again, we will talk about this towards the end of the podcast. But I am now on the 4th stripe of my strip of my blanket of squares, and every time I get to the end of a strip, I will then weave in my ends for that row, because I can't be bothered to do it after each one. But more recently, I have added in, I want to say from here, these ones, and I have got one on the go, and I've got my little dragon from the Corner of Craft on there. I just keep forgetting about it. But the reason some squares have gone on this month is because my lovely friends and I, so I have two friends, Sharon and Brendy, and we do a birthday swap. So we're all June babies, and every June we swap 15 little parcels each with little mini skeins of yarn. So we've done 5 gram minis of yarn and a birthday present for our actual birthday. And they've actually done, some of them do some little extras as well. So this year, so like every year, I open a little mini skein. I've got some wrapped up like this every day throughout June, and then have a present on my actual birthday. And I want to add the little minis into the blanket. So I'll have tons more minis, and if I was up to date, I could have been doing one every day, but I didn't. So yeah, these last few have gone into the blanket. We're very blendy in together, these last few ones. And actually I haven't opened a mini today. Ah no, I've got my gel is coming off my nail and it's caught on my knitting, keeps catching on it. Anyway, let's open one. So these are what the little parcels look like. They either look like this or they look like this, because I have 15 from Brendy and 15 from Sharon, and they each have 15 from myself and the other person. And I can actually open two because I missed one yesterday because I was crazy busy. Oh, if I can even get into it. So yeah, every day throughout June I open these little parcels, and it's just such a nice thing to do with your friends. Look at that, so pretty. That is so pretty. And then let's do another one. Yeah, and I would really recommend, it doesn't have to be a lot. Oh, we're on another blue, and it's really nice. Look at that. I'm a big blue fan. That is lovely. Anyway, so those will all go into my blanket, and it is such a lovely thing. It makes me really look forward to June. June always ends up being a bit of a flat month for me. Bad things happen to me in June. This year I've had something happen. Last year I had what did I have last year? Oh, a big drama last year. The year before that was when I had my gallbladder operation. Unexpectedly had an emergency cholecystectomy, and then ended up with a gallstone being left behind, sepsis, and well, they caught it very, very, very early, and a month in hospital. So June is, my birthday month is not a good month for me, and this is the thing that turns it around. So yeah, that's a little bit of stash enhancement as well, to be fair. And those are all the projects that I have worked on since I last recorded over a month ago. Barely finished anything. It's all a little bit chaotic around here. Stash enhancement. I have one thing to show you, and that is this bag. I actually have two things to show you, but one of them is in the garage already, and in my office in the garage already, and I'm not going back outside because the dog keeps getting really hyped up. But this bag is the one that my Orla cardigan is currently living in, and my lovely, I call her my yarn mum, but Sharon of the SCR1TNO knitting channel. So I think she's the knitting project now, but a lot of people still would remember her as SCR1TNO. But Sharon sent me this as my present in the June swap, and it is a gorgeous massive project bag. I love big project bags. I love, love, love big project bags. And I think, and I might be totally wrong, but she was like, I'm sure you can guess who this is from. And I'm guessing, Sharon, this is me guessing if you're watching, I'm guessing Stitched by Mrs. D. I might be wrong, unless Sharon made it. You didn't make it, did you, Sharon? It's beautiful and stunning, and it has embroidery, little bits of embroidery on it. I don't know if those were cut out. Yeah, Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong. But I love it. It's so beautiful. But I haven't got a maker's tag or label, so that's why I'm not 100% sure. But I love it, and it's stunning, and it's going to get lots and lots of use, and it currently has my Orla cardigan in it, but I think my blanket's going to go in there once I finished the Orla cardigan and got the blanket out of the cardboard box that it's currently living in. So there's that. I obviously gave myself a skein of this to make socks out of, and then in the garage, Brendy, the other member of our June baby swap, had given me, she'd made them herself, these 3 little hanging baskets and some hooks so I can put them up. They are the cutest little, they're like sewn, oh, they're gorgeous. So they're going up in my garage so I can put things in them already, because I love a cubby. I love a little thing that makes a storage. Yeah, love, love, love. Okay. Oh, I do have one more thing to talk about. Frog it or finish it. think I did it last time. But I have something to frog or finish, and I don't know what it is. So I was clearing out some space in our bedroom, and when I was going through a box of things, I was like, what is this? I have these, I call them, well, what they're called, doom boxes or doom piles or doom bags, or basically I just like, that's for next, I'll sort that later, I'll sort that later, I'll sort that later, and it all goes into a pile or a box or a bag or something. And then I'm like, how do I even begin to sort this? Anyway, I was sorting through a box of stuff, and inside was this bag, which is a little grey girl pyramid sock sack. And I was like, what is that? And what does it have in it? And I'm not sure if I've ever podcasted about it or talked about it. And yeah, so I just kept looking at it. I was like, I know, bang that up there. There's about 5 more project bags in there. I say there's only whips in the garage, and it's not true. They're all around the house. And I bunged it up on the side and didn't look at it again. And then this morning, when I was thinking, oh, I'm going to record a podcast, as I was getting up and getting dressed, and I thought, oh, I need to do a frog it or finish it. And I thought, that bag has something in it. You never know. Maybe this is a finished thing and the yarn and needles, and I will just have a finished thing. That counts, right? I don't know what's in it. I haven't got a clue. So I'm going to open it, I'm going to see, and then decide whether or not it stays or goes. Oh. Oh, and this is actually a really lovely project that I've just abandoned. Oh, naff needles. Maybe that's something to do with it. So, oh, there's a mini. Oh, there's a rude stitch marker. If you've got a little, oh no, it's not that rude. Is it that rude? Cack. Is that rude? There's a stitch marker in the bag. It's self-striping socks, and it's Giddy Yarns. And oh my god, okay. Yarn, quite a bit left. It's obviously 120 gram set. So lovely sock yarn. No idea what it's called because there's no ball band to be seen. But it's Helen from Giddy Yarns. Because I always know it's Helen's if it's in a gobstopper. And there's a whole sock here. Lovely. And the leg. Oh, it's a short row heel. When was the last time I did that? And the leg and the beginnings. Oh, this is a tangle. On a really horrible needle. What needle is this? Oh no. Well, it's not Chalgu. Is it Addie's? That makes it sound like I'm saying really horrible needle. Like I'm pooing on people's needles. I'm not. That's mean. They're not horrible needles. They're not like Pony from when I was a kid with those really ridiculous stiff cords. They are not horrible needles. I'm being mean. I don't know what they are. They might be Addie. It's 2 short circulars. They're not what I would prefer. And they're not knit pro zings, which I have a lot of. And I am in a mess. Okay, so it looks like I was making these on 2 short circulars. See what I mean though? Like that's a very bent cable. That's got like a really hard bend in it. That's the only reason I'm fussy about my cables. We're still quite tangled, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so the main yarn is still attached, and I have obviously started the short row heel here. So the purple is the start of the short row heel, and yeah, it's on two short circulars, which may be why it's been abandoned, because I like a magic loop. But it just, all it needs is from here down to the toe. Like there's half a sock is there already. So that would be, I've started at totally different points. I've not matched them. I'm going to finish them. Because that's a sock and a half. That would actually be stupid not to carry on. I mean, I know they won't usually be the best fitting, but they're not awful for short row heel, just isn't the best for me. So they won't be the best for me fit wise, but it's not awful, and they're definitely my size because look at them big clumpers. I'm gonna finish them. Because the yarn is too gorgeous not to finish them. That is such a lovely self stripe. It's so pretty, and that's you know, all I would do if I wasn't going to finish them would be frog them and then cast on a new pair of socks with a heel flap and gusset, and that's stupid. And I've probably thought, oh, I'll do a short row heel on these so it doesn't interrupt the stripes, because it's always annoying when you do heel flap and gusset and you're reducing back from on the gusset and you've got the shorter stripes. That's probably why I've done it, but at the same time I'm an idiot because I know it doesn't fit me as well. Anyway, I have just gained a whole sock and a half, so I'm not grumpy about this situation. I'm also not going to promise that I'm going to have them finished before next episode. We'll see. Let's try. Because if I am going to try and record a little bit more regularly, there's probably going to be a little bit less knitting in between. I'm going to see if I can finish these, but I would also like these finished, so we shall see. It'll have stalled because it was on the heel, and I had to concentrate on other things. I couldn't concentrate on doing the heel, and that is awful. That is me all over. Anyway, so frog it. Oh, I'm wobbling. Frog it or finish it. I'm going to finish it. Bottle. Anyway, I think that's everything yarny apart from redrawing the giveaway and talking about life stuff. I'll do the giveaway first. So I've already redrawn. So this was for this 120 gram yarn tart sock set, which came to live with me on the very first yarn festival that I went to, yarn show that I went to, which was Yarnporium in London, and has never been made into anything, and it deserves to be. So I have redrawn, and the winner is, I'll put it up on the screen as well, 2 Nightingales Knit. And the comment was, and I thought I would answer this comment as well, but the comment was, "Hi Laura, I did watch some of your podcasts last year, but it's so great to be joining you on episode 1 of your refresh. How did you get to be the one running East Anglia Yarn Festival, and how did it start?" So congratulations. Please send me a message. Instagram is the best place, but otherwise feel free to go to my website and send me a contact form or do the chat button through there, and I will get back to you and get your address and get this out in the post to you. In terms of how did I get to be the one running the show? So I must have said this before on another video, I'm sure I have, but I'm going to say it again. East Anglia Yarn Festival had been a dream of mine for a very long time. I was travelling to shows. Before I was travelling to shows, I was watching them on YouTube, watching people go around them on YouTube, watching people prep for them, watching people talk about them, watching people review them. And then I started to go to them, and the whole time I was thinking, why is there not one closer to where I live? Why? There's so many amazing UK yarn shows. There's so many amazing yarn shows around the world, but there wasn't one within a few hours drive of my house, and I was having to travel very long distances, and that doesn't bother me. I love a road trip. I prefer not to be the one driving so that I could be knitting, but I am usually the one driving because my husband and children do not have any interest whatsoever in going to a yarn show with me. So it's fine. I have lots of lovely yarny friends that I have met along the way that I can go with now, so it's fine. But yeah, it was a good few hours of driving before I'd get to one. And then I started my business and I started vending at them. And that showed me the other side. And it also, to a small extent, showed me what the organisers have to go through. And there were things that some shows did that I thought were amazing. And there were things that they did that I thought, oh, could you do this? And it would make things easier for everybody, or, you know. So I was always thinking, oh, I'd love to do one of these around where we live. There has to be the market for it, because Norfolk and Suffolk has tons, you know, East Anglia in general, Cambridgeshire, like, there are tons and tons and tons of people, not just businesses, but just creatives. The amount of knit groups, yarn shops, you know, this area is full of people who love the fibre arts. But we don't have a show for us. I wanted to make something, but I wanted it to be something that people would have a ridiculous amount of fun with, that they could spend the whole weekend, that they would almost feel like it was a bit of a retreat, like it's a bit of a, you know, let's go, let's have some time away from the real world and have a yarny weekend. Let's have all these different things, mates, social events, meetups, you know, like make friends, like just yeah, be able to shop, be able to take classes, be able to do all these different things. And I kept thinking about it for years. Well, I ended up in a group chat with a couple of mates. It was literally just the three of us, and I ended up telling them about my idea because it just came up in conversation and because I talk a lot. And I told them about my idea, and I told them what I would do, and I had this whole plan, and that it's just something that I really wanted to make happen. But anxiety would always get in the way, nervousness, imposter syndrome, all these things. I don't have a lot of self-confidence when it comes to doing new things or talking to new people. It's fine coming onto the internet and talking into the camera because that's just my face looking back at me on my phone. And if nobody watches, then nobody watches, and that's fine. But if you're standing and talking to a person and they don't talk back, or if you're saying, hey, I'm going to put on an event and then no one turns up, that's something that would scare the bejesus out of me. I just can't. Anyway, I said this to my two friends. I said, I really want to set up a yarn show. I want to set one up round here. I think it would be so much fun. I think there's definitely a call for it. I think there's a gap in the market, and I think I found the perfect time. There is no yarn shows on in this like 3 to 4 week gap. So I think I found a good time in the year where I wouldn't step on anyone else's toes. But also I want to vend at and visit all these other yarn shows. So it also wouldn't mess things up for me. So that was the plan. I've got a squeaky chair and I can hear it squeaking loads, and I hope you can't hear it squeaking loads, and if you can, I hope it's not annoying. Anyway, so yeah, I basically had come up with this idea. I talked to my friends about it. It had been years in the making. My family was sick of hearing me saying I was going to do it and not actually doing it. And both of them said, do it. Why have you not done this? And I was like, because what if nobody came? And they were like, people will come, we'll come. And as soon as they said we would come, we think you should do it, it gave me this sort of like, okay. And one of those two friends helped me look around came with me to look around a couple of venues. And yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a place and I'm going to do it. So I found a hotel. It was quite hard to find a venue that was a hotel because I wanted a place that had all of the things. So I wanted, good toilets, and I wanted staff who would be in there cleaning them, and I wanted a restaurant, and I wanted a bar, and I wanted all these different things. But to find one that was accessible, because that's the main issue, because there's quite a few around here, but they're not all accessible, and big enough, and had food options, I was whittled down to one, and it wasn't perfect, but it was the best I could get that wasn't through the roof crazy money. This was a new idea, a new business, a new thing, and it was going to take weeks of my life or months of my life, but like hours and hours and hours a day. I knew I was taking on something equating to a part-time job if I wanted to do it and do it right. So I was limited with the venues that I could use to make sure that, first of all, it was accessible, it was usable for everybody, and it would give a good experience, but also that it would be in my budget for the first year, my budget of which was zero. I had no idea how it was going to go, and back then I was skint. I'm still skint now, but I was even more skint back then. Now, I was going to go to my parents and ask them to lend me the little bit of money that I needed for the deposit for the venue. And I said this to my friends, so I'm going to ask my parents this weekend, see if they'll lend me the money and I'll put that deposit down. And both of them went, no, we'll each give you half. And I was like, whoa, what? And these two friends said, we believe in you, we trust you, we know you can do this, we'll lend you the money to put the deposit down. I paid them back within 3 months. I gave them 10% interest on what they had lent me because there was no way I wasn't going to do that. But that was my catalyst to really go whole hog. Those two friends turning around and saying to me, we believe in you, we trust you, we believe in you enough to put our money behind you. Now, I would normally never ever take money from friends, but I knew that I could get that back from, my parents would lend it to me, I could take a loan out, I could do whatever to pay them back if things went wrong. It wasn't such a huge amount of money that I couldn't cope. So they lent me that money and that was it. I was away. And these two friends, for that first year, I went to them with anything that I couldn't decide on. If I was looking at artwork and trying to pick between two options that the designer had sent to me, I would say to them, what do you prefer? What colours do you prefer? Anytime I said to them, I'm going to put this post out, what do you think? And these two friends gave me the confidence and support to do it. They were never involved financially, you know, they were never having to do any of the hard decisions. If people were coming in upset about anything or wanted to put an idea to me, it would always come to me. Like, it wasn't like that at all, but it was a support network of these two people. And then the actual show, I mean, the main reason that gets pulled off is because of my family, because my mum, my dad, my auntie, my brother, my husband this year, my friend looked after my kids, like everyone that I love came together to go watch and eat. And yeah, hundreds more people came this year than last year. So this year was the second year, and this year was the first year at the Norfolk Showground, which is where it'll be for the next couple of years. And just in general, it was a crazy amount of work. It broke me. It broke me mentally and a little bit physically. But that's how I became a show organiser. I had an idea and there was a gap and I wasn't treading on anyone's toes. This is the other thing. It was important to me. If there had been another yarn show, another big yarn show up and running in this area, I would never have done it. Because why would you, first of all, try and damage that person's business, but second of all, like, step on those person's toes, divide up that market. Like, there is a certain amount of people who will come in the area and they're not potentially going to spend that money with those vendors twice a year compared to once, and those vendors travel a long way. You don't want to make it worth less for them. So I would never have done it if there was someone else in our area, and I would never have done it if there was anyone else at our time of the year. Now, this, since I have set it up, there has now been a couple of other people pop up with little events, but they are in very different areas of the country, and they don't clash exact weekends with us. And I put out our weekend dates very far in advance, so I've already announced my dates to vendors over and to the community, like the working people who work in this community. I've already announced the dates for next year and the year after, so that hopefully that will help anyone else not to clash with me if they can. For me, being part of the community, I'm a vendor as well. I love most of the yarn shows in the UK, like, because I've been to them either as a customer or as a vendor. I'm going to 3 yarn shows as a vendor this autumn. I never miss a February Unravel. I could never vend one again. I did vend February Unravel previously. I can never do that again because I can't do it and run my show a month after. But I vend the autumn one, and that's actually up. That's up on the list. I vend at Yarndale. Their list is up. There's one other show, but I'm not sure if they have released their list yet, so I don't want to announce. Look at that blue dye. Oh, I don't want to announce that I'm vending there in case that's not up in public. Their list isn't public yet. So yeah, I love other yarn shows. I would never want to step on their toes. There was one nasty rumour that's gone around that one business said that I'd set mine up deliberately to try and hurt theirs. You can't please everyone. Most people in this community are this is a community. We all support each other. We all want everyone to succeed, and 99.9% of us would never ever trash anyone else or step on anyone else, because we're all people. We're all trying to live our best lives in the yarn and fibre industry, and we're all trying to be part of a community where we've got friends and we want to be able to chat with people. And this podcast on its own has brought me so many friends. It's unreal. That's how 99.9% of us are. You always get someone who's doesn't want to be in that friendship link, doesn't want to support everybody and wants to put their thing ahead, and that's just life. So yeah, if you've heard that nasty rumour, I'd just like to make it very, very clear that I did absolutely everything I could to never ever step on anyone else's toes, be near anyone else's show, and I'm not, and I'm very happy about that. But some people aren't kind, and that's just life. Yeah, so I think that is a full, this is how everything started out. And so that means that I'm the one running it because I set it up. It's my business. It's a limited company now. And yeah, I run it. It's fun. It's also very stressful. Yeah, it's it was a goal of my life, and it's happened, and I have no words. I have no words. I can't quite believe it. It all came off an impulse decision to hire a hotel. Yeah. Okay. So that's the giveaway redraw and my answer to that question. Probably a bit too much information, just like always. Life stuff is the only thing that I have left to bring up. We have had a bit of a crazy few weeks. My car is dying, so I need a new second-hand car. I say new second-hand because I said I need a new car to someone the other day, and they went, "You can afford a new car?" And I was like, definitely can't. I can afford the sort of car that you hold together with string and tape and bits fall off it. This one, I was driving along, the exhaust fell off. We tried to drive it, so our parents, my lovely parents, took us away on holiday a few weeks ago, about a month ago, and on the way to the airport, a pipe blew up. It literally blew and there was steam pouring out the front, and we had to edge it back home little by little, topping up the water the whole way. It was horrible. But I think I have a new car, and I should be able to pick it up in the next couple of days, which sucks. I hate spending money on cars. Cars are a means to get from A to B, and I don't really put a lot of value in them. And yeah, I am begrudgingly spending all of my savings on this car. I need it for work, I need it for the kids, I need to have a vehicle, but I am annoyed. So hopefully it should get that either tomorrow or the next day. Oh, I don't think I showed you. Again, squirrel. This is the bag that this sock is living in, and this is a Jibby Rousseau's bag in my Beach Babes fabric, and it's summer, so Beach Babes bag has to come out. Yeah, life stuff. There's the car. We're trying to sort our garden out, which had gone to ruin a little over the, like, we live on a new housing estate. We turfed our garden, and then because it was just mud when we moved in, because it was a new build, and we have a real weed problem, and I'm not sure how to deal with it. Some of these weeds are like small trees, and they come back every time, and I think we have to accept the fact that all of our grass is going to die in the attempt to literally dig the whole lot up to get all the weeds. We don't know what we're doing. We have no gardening experience or ability between us. We got a trampoline in lockdown, which has I don't trust it anymore. There's part of it that's a little rusty, and because it's just lived outside for the last 3 years, and it got bent in the wind. There was some very bad weather, and we held it down with stuff, but it got very bent up. So that needs to go to the tip, things like that. So I pressure washed the patio this week. Boring things. The only other thing life-wise that's been going on that is a bit bigger for me is that I had an ADHD diagnosis. So it's the 27th now, and I had my diagnosis on the 8th of June. I've been on the waiting list for ADHD diagnosis for a very long time. I can't afford to go private, so I am waiting for the NHS. I pay my taxes. I've got no stress about that. Like, I am, you know, I love the NHS, and I am very, very, very sad that it is incredibly underfunded. And it, you know, has taken a good couple of years for me to get to this point. But at the same time, I am very grateful that this is available for us and that I have been able to have it. So I have my ADHD diagnosis. It explains a lot about me. It explains a lot about how Frank. No. It explains a lot about me. So I have a combined type diagnosis with a Frank. Stop it. There's nobody there. I have a combined type diagnosis with a lean towards inattentive. So impulse decisions, check. Impulse decisions, not being able to remember things, taking on more than I can handle, and then never being able to do all of the things, never concentrating on one task, having 50 million bloody whips around my house. Yeah, all of these things, you know, things that I didn't know about that I'm now learning about that make a lot of sense. My dog, honestly, stop it. Things that I'm now learning about that I didn't know about before: the emotional regulation, the, you know, things not being, if they're not right in front of me, they don't get done because my focus is gone. All these little things have clicked into place, and it has resulted in a little bit more acceptance of myself, making me realise why things were a certain way in certain situations for me, being a little bit more gentle with myself, and yeah, a bit more understanding for me. I'm sad that I didn't get diagnosed younger. I'm 33 now, and it's taken all that time for me to get to this point. There are parts of my life that could have been drastically different if I had had this knowledge and potentially had no medication. If that works for me, I'm not sure. So it is a 7-month wait from diagnosis to titration at the moment, which is the process of finding the right medication for you and then messing about with your dose until you find the right dosage for you. So I am on the list. I'm waiting. I'll tell you when I get some medication. You never know. Maybe I'll start finishing some projects. But yeah, I really stumbled. Brain blank then. I really stumbled for quite a while over whether or not to share that information online, and in the end I decided I would, because I'm not ashamed of having ADHD. This is just how my brain works, and now I have the ability to explain it a little better because I have this diagnosis, and it gives me a little bit of an acceptance about me. It makes me realise that, oh, I'm not just bad at life. I'm not just constantly failing in all these different things because I'm rubbish at stuff. Here's some reasoning behind it, and it's really helped me to have that acceptance, that sometimes something else is actually wrong. Other than that, oh, I've got endometriosis and adenomyosis. I think I was diagnosed with that. I've had my endometriosis diagnosis for a long time, but the second one, which I can't really say very well, I was diagnosed with that yesterday. And yeah, now going through treatment for that as well. So I feel like I'm falling apart. I feel like I'm not doing very well, but at the same time, we're muddling through. And I've got so many lovely friends now. There's been so many times I felt so lonely, and I've got so many lovely friends at the moment that are just my absolute rocks. And I'm feeling probably more accepting of myself, and yeah, it's nice to have some answers for a lot of things. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, there is loads of stuff wrong with me. Yeah, that's life stuff really. We'll see how we get on with all of that. Bit of a depressing end for you. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I sit myself down and knit a chunk every day, which is hard to do when you have pre-orders stacking up, which I need because I need to work, and I'm incredibly grateful. Everyone who bought yarn through the Ice and Fire collection, thank you so much, because you literally made my life. I cannot believe what I've been able to live through, what I've been able to see in my business, the changes that I've been able to see, and it's only because people have been able to support me. And okay, I'm still not a big yarnder. You know, I don't make thousands and thousands of pounds. I'm not sitting there up with the big guys at all. But seeing this on the shelf for me, every morning I come in here, I'm making the kids breakfast, and I'm looking at that and going, wow, like, this is okay. Things are going okay, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you so much. I'm literally living my life's dreams. I'm being able to feel like I have something that belongs to me after losing my identity. It felt like when I became a mum, I felt like I lost a chunk of me, and that sounds like I'm being really ungrateful and really horrible. I love the new identity of mum that I get, but I've really struggled mental health wise since having children. My children are my absolute light and be all and end all, and I adore them. I'm the problem. And this community has given a sense of identity back to me. And I always get really soppy when I'm recording because I just run on and talk and talk and talk, and always get into that then like, I can't believe I have a safe place where I can talk. Nobody's going to listen to 55 minutes of this video. What a boring video. I'm so sorry. I might just cut all this piece out. I might not, because this is a very true representation of me and how I talk. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm not going to put any new giveaways up until the last 2 giveaway prizes have been claimed, because I can't keep track of them all otherwise. It's getting a bit silly. I'm not sure anybody wants these giveaways. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you so much if you have watched all the way to the end of this ramble. And yeah, thank you. And thank you as always for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.